Hello, my friends. D.L. Anderson here. Welcome back to Transformation by Truth podcast as we share the truth concerning these last days and what you must do to save yourself from the violent times that are just ahead. Today's podcast is a word of truth accounting of the end times. The end is coming. The end is near. Today's podcast is entitled End Times 323, The Spiritual Disease of Doubt, Part 3. This is no time to fear. The podcast objectives are analyze the great peril of fear, analyze the relationship between fear and distrust, and review how Peter miraculously walked on water. This lesson contains timelines and other visuals. Therefore, if you are listening to the podcast, I advise you to watch the video version on our website or YouTube, or request a PDF of the lesson so you can add the visual effect. No need to fear. Shalom, my beloved brothers and sisters, and welcome to day 43 of our exposition of lawlessness. In the most recent podcast, we analyzed the importance of dealing with obstacles and crises head on, for this is the only way to move forward in your quest. This is precisely why those who try to avoid their tests and trials end up going backwards. It is because there is no other way forward, and there is no way around it, i.e., the test or trial you are trying to avoid. Look here, the only way to progress your quest is to succeed every test and every trial on your path. For this, my friends, is Yahuwah's will. This speaks to the great danger associated with fear and why the scriptures warn us against this perilous emotion on more than 400 occasions. This makes fear one of the more common spiritual disorders referenced in the word of truth. Fear is a distressing emotion aroused by impending danger, evil, pain, etc. Whether the threat is real or imagined, the feeling or condition of being afraid, often when there is nothing to be afraid of. Here lies the great peril of fear. Vis-a-vis, fear, like doubt, exists outside of reality. That is, for the children of Elohim. For there is no reality where we should fear. Romans 8, 31 to 32 is revealing. What then shall we say to these things? If Elohim is for us, who can be against us? Truly, he who did not spare his own son, but delivered him up on behalf of us all, how shall he not, along with him, freely give us all else? 2 Timothy 1:7 is revealing. For Elohim has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. In line with these verses, you must realize that fear does not come from Elohim. Quite the contrary, fear is a weapon employed by your enemies, for they know the easiest way to cause you to despair is by first causing you to fear. And remember, despair is the foundation of doubt. Ergo, the enemy strategically uses fear to initiate the downfall of doubt in our lives. And the only way to avoid it is by heeding the word of truth, which reveals the set apart ones have no need to fear. For we are being sealed, and no weapon formed against us shall prosper. The irrational nature of fear. Now, if we fail to eliminate fear early and often, we will not only fall prey to despair, alas, the spiritual virus of despair will evolve and subject us to an even greater spiritual virus. Enter distrust, the focal degree of doubt. By definition, distrust is a lack of trust, doubt, suspicion. Now, the great danger of distrust lies in its association with the progression of doubt. To wit, distrust is equated to the second phase of this deadly progression. Enter withdrawal. This is a natural progression, for we will naturally withdraw from those who we do not trust. The question of the hour then is, why would those who were called by Elohim fail to trust him and consequently withdraw themselves from him? The answer is sure, and we touched on it in the most recent section. Vis-a-vis, it's because they are full of fear, a reality which testifies to the irrational nature of fear. Consider this and be advised, my friends. Fear not only has the power to cause us to turn on our best friends, it has the power to cause us to turn on our Creator. This transpires as we fear the giants and the obstacles in our path, which causes us to question the Father's ability to carry us through these tests and trials. This questioning, which is instigated and driven by fear, forces us to make a crucial decision concerning our beliefs. To wit, we must choose to believe the Father is either able to deliver on his promises or he is not. The choice is as simple as that. But alas, as simple as this choice is, many will make the wrong choice for the simple fact that they are forced to make their decision in a heightened state of fear. And because they are overly focused on the giants and the obstacles, they will forget who the Father has been to them and what he has done for them for all their lives. This is the moment they will begin to be hampered by distrust, for their fear of the giants and the obstacles in their path will cause them to take their eyes off the one who can empower them to overcome, and they will begin to sink. Why did you doubt? Now, to our good fortune, this development is captured perfectly in the gospel. I will conclude this podcast by reading this brilliant story, and we will analyze it in greater detail in the upcoming podcast. Matthew 14, 22 through 32 is revealing. And immediately, Yahushua made his taught ones enter into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. And having dismissed the crowds, he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. And when evening had come, he was alone there. But the boat was now in the middle of the sea, agitated by the waves, for the wind was against it. And in the fourth watch of the night, Yahushua went to them, walking on the sea. And when the taught ones saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a phantom." And from fear they cried. But immediately Yahushua spoke to them, saying, "Take courage, it is I. Do not be afraid." And Kepha, who was Peter, answered him and said, "Master, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. And he said, come. And when Kepha had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. But when he saw that the wind was strong, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, Master, save me. And immediately Yahushua stretched out his hand and took hold of him and said to him, O you of little faith, why did you doubt? And when they came into the boat, the wind ceased. Now, here is the final word. As thou, O Elohim, are always near, there is nothing now that we should fear. Despite this truth, life comes at us often hard and often fast. And it is often difficult to maintain our focus on the master, the object of our trust. And yet, it is crucial that we do. For when it comes to reigning victorious over doubt, resisting the cries to fear is a must. Now, here is today's assignment. Meditate on the word you have heard today. And as always, ask the Father to reveal the truth to you. For the children of Elohim live by conviction. And if he has not convicted you, or if you had not heard him concerning these matters, you should pray until you do. Today, I want you to read Matthew 14:22 through 32. This is a story we have just read in which Peter miraculously walked on the water. After you read this passage, I want you to meditate on all the major lessons and takeaways from this story, specifically as it pertains to the elimination of doubt. Guard these truths in your heart, as well as those I will share in the upcoming podcast. Now, here is what's next. We complete today's podcast, End Times 3:23, The Spiritual Disease of Doubt, Part 3. And the next podcast is entitled End Times 3:24, The Spiritual Disease of Doubt, Part 4. I will post this podcast on Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. Until then, my friends, continue to be led by the Spirit of Elohim. Continue to watch, continue to pray, continue in fasting, and most of all, continue to be focused, for the end is coming. The end is near.